Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for the market recap. And if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check out the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. Okay, guys, so let's hop right on into the charts, and we're going to start off with the dollar. So, dollar has been just consolidating within this very large support zone. Again, remember this blue zone here goes back about 5 to 7 years, goes all the way back to about 2015. Okay, so we're talking about 7 years here. 7 going on 8 years here. So this zone is very, very, very big, very strong. I am very skeptical, as you can see, I'm very everything, very skeptical that we're going to be breaking down from this zone anytime soon. In my opinion, we are likely going to start to show signs of curling up, as we kind of have been, if you noticed. Okay, we had a nice breakdown over all of 2022, bottomed around this area, had a nice little pop up, took out these highs here, took out these highs here, and now breaking down. And what are we doing? We're doing somewhat so far of like this double bottom structure. Okay, so if we do hold this structure, we continue to round out like we are right here, look for that continuation back up to at least 103.65, and then look for continuation, in my opinion, going back up towards this daily downtrend line. So that's coming back into the 104s, potentially 104.5. And then we'll have to see how the price action looks as we come to there. Again, we could actually fail there and then have continuation lower. That's for sure a plausible path. Or we could fail there, then break down, and then make another higher low, and then finally break up. We'll have to wait and see when and if price should get there on dollar and see how the price action is maturing. But overall, I am very contrarian in regards to the dollar when you look outward into the social medias where everyone's calling for death to the dollar and, we're going to break down. That's all possible for sure. I'm not saying it's not, but in my opinion, from what I'm seeing, where we're trading, the sentiment, I would say that I think it's more likely right now that we're likely going to have at least a small bounce back up to 103.65, and then potential continuation to that daily downtrend line. If we should break that daily downtrend line, of course, look for the monthly bearish fair value gap zone and even this ascending trend line to play that level to be your resistance zone. Okay, that would be my thinking. If we should break down, which again I personally think is less probable, but it's definitely there. If we do break down, we're going to break further down to the monthly bullish fair value gap zone and probably start trading towards the bottom end of it, so breaking under 100, so finally going sub 100, going towards the 99.5, and maybe even going sub that, breaking down towards this lower fair value gap here, going towards 98. Okay, so that would be our two major first zones we want to watch for, is 100 to 99, and then eventually 98. Okay, so watch for dollar to trade here. I think we're going to be trading here for quite some time, and I do think we are more likely to break up higher just looking at the price action and the structure. Okay, next is the Dow. So let's see what the Dow's been doing. So Dow has been pretty impressive. All the indexes have been pretty impressive. I mean, they've been really respecting the zones, the fair value gap zones. Came into this bearish fair value gap zone, wicked right into it, rejected, came into this bullish fair value gap zone, wicked right into it, and then respected it. So it's been very interesting watching this. Now, in my opinion, I do think we are going to break down further, okay, come into these lower zones, potentially hold these, or come at least into 32,500, 32,400, and then hold that zone. Okay, this is going to coincide with a stronger dollar, in my opinion. So we'll have to wait and see if this is what plays out. In my opinion, from looking at the dollar, this is the more probable path. If I'm wrong, we will probably see a breakdown back into this level, hold this zone, break up further, start a consolidation in this area that will eventually lead to a bullish break going back towards the 35,000 zone, taking these high pivots and grabbing the liquidity over these levels, and potentially breaking back towards the highs over here. And this is where I would look for another failure, so another rejection and then breakdown, and then we'll have to wait and see, is it going to lead to lower lows? More likely it's going to lead to a higher low structure, just like this happened over here. Okay, next is the S&P. So let's take a quick look at S&P, see what's going on there. So S&P has been ping-ponging between the liquidity zones, just like it has been with Dow. So same story. Okay, this had a nice double bottom structure right here, came right into this, wicked right in, then pop popped right up. Still hasn't gotten back to this bearish fair value gap zone, but potentially we may if we have a weaker dollar, at least early in the week. So you may see this go a bit higher, but currently I am feeling the same way about the S&P as I am about the Dow. Again, looking for a breakdown further, coming in to take these lows, grab the liquidity there, fill out this fair value gap down here, and then potentially break down further, and then hold the 3,900 to 3850 zone. So pretty much not taking these lows here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking for potentially. If we can do that, if we could hold these levels here, I think that's extremely bullish and will eventually lead to a nice bullish break, probably back above towards like 4,500. Okay, if I'm wrong and we're going into, let's just say, a more severe breakdown, if we do start taking out these lows down here at about 3,800, look for the 2020 COVID highs prior to the lockdowns to be the next level to be revisited. So yes, taking out these lows down here and going back down sub 3,400, going to 3394.4, and finally breaking back into the fair value channel here. Okay, so watch out for that. Do you think I should take that? Yeah, let's take that off log. So essentially this is how it looks without the log chart on. So we had the COVID channel, broke down, been respecting this blue line here, and we broke through bullish, held the retest and broke up. Now, in my opinion, if we can make that higher low over here, we're confirming this bullish break, and we're going to be looking for those highs get taken over here, and the highs over here getting taken, so getting back towards the 4,400 level. If we can't make those higher lows, then we're really threatening taking these lows down here out, and that really strengthens the probabilities to downside momentum going towards the 2020 levels. Because remember, the Dow was able to take this pivot, its 2020's high prior to the COVID lockdowns. The S&P and NASDAQ have not, so they do have room to go to the downside if this is the path that we should walk. Okay, the more probable path currently, again, the more probable path currently is a break to the upside. However, if it doesn't work out this way, the probabilities dramatically increase. We're breaking all the way down, that we're not going to hold these lows, guys. Okay, it's very unlikely we're holding these lows. Super likely we're breaking under that level and coming back to the median fair value channel line here at about 3,000, 3,100, depending on how fast or slow it takes for the drop. Okay, and if that should happen, then that means that we have been in a bear market rally, and we likely have another 20% correction, 25% correction left in the tank. Okay, now I'm not saying that's what's happening, but that would be what is happening if this should play out. So the more probable path is upside, least probable path is downside, but it's definitely there. Next is NASDAQ. So let's take a quick look at the NASDAQ. So just like the Dow and the S&P, again, ping-ponging between these levels. And this is the same thing. Again, has it, in my opinion, NASDAQ looks very overextended. I think it's ready to break down to at least come back down to 12,500. But the NASDAQ is always going to have an extension percentage-wise that's going to be far greater than the Dow and S&P relative. So you're going to see this break down, and where the S&P is down, let's say like 2%, Dow might be down 1%, maybe 0.8%. You're going to see the NASDAQ down probably like 2.8%, 3.2% or something. So you'll probably see this have a much more pronounced extension to the downside should it break down, and vice versa to the upside. So if we break down, which I do see this being more probable here, we do break down coming to 12,500. I actually am very skeptical this holds. I do think we're going to break down further coming into this level here, down here at 12,000 to 11,900. Okay, so this general zone here, trying to hold this consolidation. Whether we succeed or not will be dependent on how extended the downside move may or may not be, and how strong the dollar gets, and how rapidly it gets, how rapid in strength it gets as well. So same thing, same story. Downside short term, but I am looking for some midterm upside, just like with the Dow and the S&P. Next is oil. So let's take a quick look at oil. So oil's been pretty interesting. Came and filled this gap that was made by Saudi Arabia, had a nice extension down. Now the goal is, if we're bullish on oil, which I am bullish on oil, even after everything that's happened, I am bullish on oil. If this holds this level here, creating this higher low structure, the story is all the same to me. So we're likely going to have a break up further, coming back towards these liquid zones and taking out the consolidation highs up here. Now, if I'm wrong and we don't hold these lows and we actually do break down, look for a move breaking under 60 and potentially getting all the way back down towards the 40s, which would be pretty incredible to see. And if it does do that, it's actually coming back to this descending trend line here. So let's see if I can pull that up on the monthly. Yes. So you'll see this descending trend line here. Let's actually do that a little bit better right here. So off the log chart, if it does break down further, coming back down towards like 45, 46, coming back down towards this descending trend line, it broke bullish on the monthly. So even if it does come all the way down to here, technically, if you look at the structure and it holds these levels down here, it's actually still super bullish long term. So if you're looking at it, you know, multi-year going into the decade, you know, length of time, a breakdown here is your opportunity to buy and look for a massive macro bottom for the next leg up potentially. Okay, so if that is what's occurring here, be prepared for potentially 40. In my opinion, I don't see that happening, at least not right now. I do see us just holding this zone, because just like the dollar, this is a major support zone going all the way back. I believe this one's about 5 years as well. So look for this to hold at least for a while, and then if we do get some weakness here, eventually we'll break down. But in my opinion, we're likely going to hold here and then look for upside. Now, I will change my opinion if, you know, certain existential news comes out and, you know, tells me I should change my opinion. And also, if the dollar gets too strong too fast, you will see some initial weakness in oil. However, give it some time, oil will catch up to dollar. They are paired, okay? They are paired, okay? Oil will respect the strength of dollar in the short term. So if dollar, let's just say, jumps all the way up to like 103 tomorrow, guess what? Oil's going to take a nice little dump, but it will get bought back up, because even though Russia and China are doing their thing, world reserve currency, petrodollar, that is still a thing. It will still be connected, okay? So watch oil, okay? And if we do continue to get these threats coming out of Saudi Arabia of cutting more supply, it's going to force oil up, okay? It's going to force oil up. So even though we've broken down here, we're still holding a bullish structure potentially. We took out these highs previously here from this pivot here, broke down, and now we're trying to make a higher low. If that confirms, that puts into question, okay, look for a break up to take out these highs and have a nice move getting back towards 88 to 90. Next is gold and silver. So what an interesting, I have to tell you, you know, gold and silver, but mostly gold, have absolutely exceeded my expectations in strength. I was very surprised to see gold have another leg up, taking out these highs here, and then not only that, actually stabbing above its all-time high, so making a new all-time high. But take a look at this rejection since. Okay, so you're really threatening here a swing failure pattern. You have a nice bear doji with a bearish engulfing. I mean, this to me is just screaming top. Now, not saying this is the top forever, but I am saying this is a huge screaming, hey, I think I'm done running. I've been running all the way since the beginning, really beginning of 2023, the very end, Q4 of 2022, almost nonstop. I think I need a rest. I think gold is really just telling us, hey, I'm gonna take some time and I'm gonna break down. I know I've been saying it, but this structure is bearish unless we can get super bullish super quickly, pretty much this week. You know, this week, counteracting this structure here, breaking back above, like, let's just say back above the highs of this wick, and just having just actual continuation like on the weekly. Unless that happens, you know, the daily is just telling you, watch out. And then looking at the monthly, let me just quickly get rid of some of these doodles here. Hold on 1 second. I'm too lazy to actually just go and tap them. There we go. So going into the monthly, just take a look at this as well, right? So monthly here, even though this last month, I mean, super, like, it's been incredibly fun to watch gold, but this monthly here, right here on April, you know, kind of told you the story. Broke up hard, had a nice sell-off going into the end of the month, and then you had this month here in May, beautiful breakup, taking the highs of last month, but immediately getting sold down. If we close this monthly candle under the low of April, under the highs of April, to me that really implies a slowdown. And you even saw it here, right? The April closed under the highs of March. All right, so you're getting signs of slowing down. Now, again, this doesn't mean it's going to just break down from here, going all the way down to sub 1600 or anything, but this is telling you that this is getting extended, especially on the monthly, that, you know, getting long up here is definitely way riskier, in my opinion. Does not pay good RR at all. I mean, I would be looking for a potential short coming into here. I mean, this is incredible, incredible structure in my opinion to look for a short. Now, doesn't mean we won't just trade back up, but if we do hold these levels, especially on the weekly and monthly time frames, I mean, you're looking at major downside, and the first major level is gonna be under these lows down here at 19,000, 1970, 1,975, 1,970, and then maybe even breaking back down to 1900s over here. Okay, so this would be, to me, the first major zone of just watch the price come in here, consolidate, and in my opinion, it'll probably be a bearish consolidation. Okay, you'll probably see a bearish consolidation happening here that leads to more downside going back to 1800. Now, in my opinion, again, we're probably going to break under 1800. The goal is, as long as we don't take out these lows here made in 2022, I think gold is extremely bullish. I'm still bullish on it like crazy, but we are going to be looking for some major downside, a major correction after this massive, massive move up. Massive, right? So it only makes sense to grab liquidity here, because sometimes you have to go down to go up. You have to grab liquidity, get people out of positions, really start punishing late longs, greedy shorts, and then washing them out, and then breaking up again over a good period of time. Okay, so we're gonna keep our eye on this, but what an incredible move gold has had, and I'm curious to see how it's gonna work out as we go into the next half of this year. If you're in the swing trade service, just know that I'm watching very closely. Believe me, I'm going to be making some moves on gold very, very soon. Same with oil. Next is silver. Silver, same story. Took out the highest minor. Minor takeout of the highs here, failed off. Now I think gold actually looks a little bit more bearish, but silver had a far more steep rise compared to gold. It had very little arguably no consolidation here. I mean, you had a couple days that went sideways, maybe a slight red day here, 2 days here and there, but then you just had continuation going up, 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 taking out this consolidation. And to me, this structure here is just telling me look for downside, and I think it's pretty clear. You want to look for 22.50, so $22.50, and then once you do that, look for a nice little pop up. I would look for a lower high structure to start building somewhere around here, around the 24s, 25s, and then breaking back down, going back towards $20 to $21 and change. All right, so I think it's a very similar structure to gold. Both have done extremely well this year, honestly, I had called that I did think that gold would be the best performing asset this year, and I think I'm correct. I'm not sure how close Bitcoin is, but I think I'm correct so far. We'll see if it remains to be, yeah, but really incredible move in these two. All right, let's actually before we go to Bitcoin, actually, I do want to touch on dollar yuan, the yuan, and US dollar. So let's pull that up real quick. So this is coming from a member who wanted me to take a quick look at US dollar, Chinese yuan, just give my opinions on it, I guess. Looking at it again, it's going to follow the DXY chart very closely, and in my opinion, like, this is showing real signs of upside. Right, so let's start off on the weekly here. So weekly, I think, tells you the best story. So you had a major move up going out throughout 2022. So this coincides with the strength in dollar, right? So if you take a quick look at the dollar here, it's going back to the dollar. So what are we seeing here? Right here in March 2022, what did we do? We just rose up, and then at the end, so Q4 of 2022 is when we started to break down on dollar. So very, very similar. This started breaking up sometime in April. So this actually front ran a little bit. I actually had a bit of a lag compared to actual DXY, but give it a couple weeks and boom, popped up really hard. And then we had a nice top just around the same time in Q4 of 2022 as DXY did, and continued selling for pretty much the rest of that year. And then we had a nice pop up, and what are we seeing here? In my opinion, I think we're seeing some real bullishness here. So take a look at this on the weekly. Broke up, came into this weekly bearish fair value gap right here, all right? And we slowed down, but instead of actually having continuation to the downside going after these lows, what is USDCNY doing? It's threatening to hold this bullish fair value gap here, so grabbing the liquidity here on the weekly, wicking into this multiple times and showing signs potentially going after these highs. Now, if this confirms, if we can take these highs out, watch for a move going all the way back up, probably towards about 7.11, so 7.11. All right, and if the dollar is strengthening like I think, this is the path, right? So this is what's most probable in my opinion. You're going to see USDCNY probably break up on the weekly bullish. Now, if I'm wrong, obviously the first place you're going to look for are these lows. These lows are extremely likely to get taken out because you're going to be grabbing liquidity under this consolidation, under these lows, and that means tapping into this imbalance down here, so you have all the fair value gaps here on the weekly. All right, so I am looking for some upside on CNY. I do think this is the more probable path coming up first, and then we'll see if we do stop. So if we were to break up, let's say on dollar, getting back up to like 103.65, I think that would be reflected with price up here for USDCNY. If that's where we slow down, look for that lower high structure to be formed and then a breakdown further. If we're going to have a much more extended rally in the dollar that even I'm not seeing right now, then look for these highs to get threatened. Okay. So, in my opinion, I have to be short-term bullish on CNY, USDCNY. I think U.S. dollar is going to take some strength away from the yuan here. But if I'm wrong, we have the levels. It's going to be all the way down here, and we're looking at what, that 6.63 going all the way down to like 6.58 to 6.5. All right, and potentially even lower if you go down to these lower fair value gaps. So I'm looking for upside on this. If you ask me, that's my opinion. I think you're looking for upside, but again, we'll have to see. This week's gonna be very telling. If we can get continuation to the dollar this week, we should probably start breaking these highs this coming week. All right, so I think that's it for USDCNY. I don't really have anything else I want to say on it. I'll check back in on this, and we'll see how this all played out, if it did play out. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. So I'll actually draw down here, and I would look for a bounce. Once we take out these lows, I would look for a minor bounce coming towards, probably back towards like 6.75 to maybe even 6.8, and then continuation. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin, see what's going on with Bitcoin here. How has Bitcoin been doing? So let's go on the daily here. So as you can see, Bitcoin's been pretty interesting. Had a nice little breakdown here. I've been trading in this zone for quite some time. If you notice, it's been grinding quite a bit, right? And if you've been following me for any time, whenever you see something like this, I always warn, this is usually happening when smart money is unloading or they're looking to open up shorts. So in my opinion, I would be looking for some downside. I've been looking for downside for quite some time. We've been rewarded with our patience. If you're in the swing trade service, we've been short on crypto for the most part. We do have longs. We're kind of equal weighted right now, but on the short side, all of our positions are doing, I would say, very well. We have very few positions that are lackluster. Everything's in the green on the short side, and some of the shorts are very, very much in the green. So I've been very happy with the performance overall. It's been very slow couple months, as expected during springtime for the most part. We'll see if May actually is going to be out of character and actually have some big moves. Usually it doesn't, but we'll see. In my opinion, I think if this plays out as I'm looking at it, we're squeezing here. And if we are going to continue to grind up, I would look for some downside, probably going back to, at the very least, 26,000 to 26,500, but more likely, in my opinion, going back down to 25,000 to 24,000. So back into this general zone over here. That would be how I would be looking for this. If we can hold this zone here, I'd be very bullish. If we don't, then depending on the price action says, I would still be pretty bullish. But we do have to be very wary of this reversal over here. I do like where it bounced off of, but the amount of consolidation that did not happen here, there was really no consolidation, is a little worrisome. So if we come down into that level, depending on how the price action looks, it could be very easily taken out. So we got to be very, very careful with that. But overall, I think Bitcoin short term, you should be looking for downside. But going into like the mid-term, maybe longish term, I would be looking for some upside. I do think we're in store for a pretty significant consolidation that will then eventually lead to higher highs. Going towards like the 34,000, maybe even like 36,000 zone, around that area, and potentially depending on the price action looks, you maybe get into the low 40s, 42, 44, and then we have to watch out and see, is this going to be a repeat of 2019? From 2017's all-time highs, and you had the 2018 down year, and then 2019 was a nice like bear market rally, and then a massive rejection and lower high made from that. Are we going to make that same sort of structure where we just break up and then pop down, make a higher low from these lows that we made in 2022, and then maybe the bull market starts there? Who knows? We're going into very interesting times, unprecedented time. So we have to keep that in mind. This is actually not like any other time. So we do want to be vigilant, as I always say, because this is not what anyone's really used to But you do want to trust the charts, and to me, the charts are telling me watch for squeeze action to break down. And I do think the sentiment is bullish. So in that scenario, I would always go against the sentiment. So I would be looking for a breakdown, at least in the short term, going back down to the 26.5s. Okay, so look for short-term breakdown on Bitcoin, in my opinion. And if the dollar does get strong as I'm expecting it to, I think that will also coincide with what I'm seeing in the chart here. And again, if I'm wrong, watch for that move going into the low 30s, like 32, 34, and then potentially into the 36,000, which is this monthly bearish fair value gap zone that we would start trading in. And I think we'd actually have a very similar structure here as we would up there. You know, consolidation, probably very gross, and then maybe some slight downside, slight upside, and just kind of go sideways from there. All right, so all right, that's it, everyone. Before I go, remember, if you're interested in any of those services, you know, I do a day trading room. We're very focused on trying to get people funded. We got one person funded recently, and then we also have someone who's hopefully on the verge of being funded, and we have someone who's just started the combine, and hopefully we can get that person funded as well. So if you're interested in becoming a funded trader with FTMO or whatever prop firm you might be interested in, you know, make sure to check out that service. Definitely think we could help. And it's always fun trading with other people, especially, you know, when I think almost everyone here, I'll put myself in that basket. We know what we're doing for the most part. We're not clueless. So if you are interested in trading with us, you know, make sure to check out that service. You'll find that information in the description below in the Patreon or on the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, again, click that link. It's a free Discord. Do free trades, free live streams. So even if you're not going to be like a premium member and pay for any of the services, I think it's worth the, you know, just being there, because, you know, you get to meet other people from all experience levels, from novices to experts in trading. And again, the live streams are also a great place to hang out with and meet new people. And also, I do a lot of trading on the live streams too, so even if you're not paying for anything, you get free trades that way as well. And again, if you want to learn how to trade, I also provide tutoring services as well. Again, that's a lot more personal. It's a one-on-one sort of thing. So, you know, definitely DM me about that on the Discord. If you're interested in that, just let me know. And then we could, you know, potentially go over some scheduling stuff, and also get into detail of what we go over and all that stuff. You know, again, probably the most, I would say the most valuable service I provide is probably teaching, you know, you how to trade and get you on some some good habits, you know, especially with risk management. And then obviously we have the swing trade service, which has been I would say been very, very good. The swing trade service has performed extremely well over these past couple months, really the year. We've been going for about a year now. We do both crypto, stocks, whatever. It's been some slow months. It's definitely been some slow months, not that many trades. Again, I have a lot of trades running, but actually taking profit, it's been a very, very slow time since pretty much March and April, and May may be a repeat of that. But hey, you have to trade what the market gives you. You can't really this is a typo, I gotta fix that. You can't really force stuff onto the market. You have to do whatever the markets tell you to do. Sometimes that means trading a lot, sometimes it means trading at nothing, you know. So you have to do what the markets tell you. That will keep you from losing a lot of money, you know. All right, well, that's it. Again, everyone, if you have any questions ever, make sure to let me know in the Discord. I'm usually always available, and I'll get back to you for sure. All right, everyone, remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.